It's very Simon Sinek question. Okay, so why? Out of frustration, I would say, in the sense that there are a lot of companies that when it comes to agility or when it comes to agile principles, they do a lot of things rightfully, okay, and there are other companies that have more resources or have more money, I'll put it like that, but they fail completely to actually spot what agility means, right? And on top of that, as we were discussing later, there has been an emerging whole industry that I will also speak briefly in the presentation, that it's the Agile consultancy, right? Where people that have traditional workflows and they internalize software teams, they actually want to do things like the same way, and then they decide that they want to become Agile, and they hire some company that sends some Agile coaches. It's a very nice guy that tells you, asks you if you're a dolphin or a lion, and tells you that you have to implement a Scrum, and that's it, silver bullet, right? And that's not by any means what agility means. Okay, so it's something that I have had. I'm a very opinionated guy. Okay, so it's one of the things that comes with age and accidents that I have some beliefs that are very strong, but it's actually the most important struggle that we have to overcome with when starting with some clients. Okay, it's that principle of agility, that starting to believe that a software team is not a set of workers on a production line that are assembling pieces and have to produce, and you have to measure all that. And I think that I compile a set of points that make sense to prepare for to identify the challenges that we face, and then to make some proposal on how I think that things should work. Okay, and also from our experience, we have seen that they work better. Okay, and open a discussion based on that. Right. When I saw the attendance list, which I'm a little bit scared now that I see so few people, I saw that there were 50% of C-level or director or founder attendance. That actually is the right target for this kind of speech, because it's more about the way of thinking rather than any recipe to implement. Because one of the things that we have seen, and Roberto has worked with me in several projects already, is that there is no single formula that you can apply everywhere and do the work. Okay, so everything has to be ad hoc and has to be treated as a unique case, because it really is. That's why.
And what do you think? Who is the best job title to speak about it, to deliver this presentation? Whether it's founder or CEO in a smaller company, or delivery manager, change manager, or any other manager in a larger organization?
CEO, CTO would be nice. IT manager. And then depending on the degree of freedom that each company gives their teams to organize. So I don't want to do any spoilers, but one of the problems that we face is that the way that software is built is quite different to the way that most companies build their products. And that doesn't mean that one way is right, the other is wrong. It's one way is right to build their products, and then there is a better way to build software. The main thing is that you cannot use the same for both, right? So when it comes to who would be the best target to actually discuss this kind of topic, would be some decision maker or something that can actually impact and influence the way that people organize inside an IT department to build software. Okay.
Right.
And the way that IT departments are seen in non-IT companies, it's like they are the computer guys, right? They do what they tell them, and it's quite frustrating. Let's put it like that. Okay, so
right. So let us ask questions to all the participants. Can you drop in the chat like thumbs up if you are ready to go, Andre, Kilian, and Ming, because we don't hear you, we don't see your faces, but we are interested to know whether you are ready to get started. And I assume Roberto and Ivan are ready to get started. Let's see. Andre, can you give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down or any reaction? Okay. And Andre is ready. And I hope that there will be more people to join, but still we don't have a lot of folks on this call today, sadly.
No worries. When you want me to go, I can start. Okay.
Okay.
And but I have no problem waiting 5 more minutes if that's something that you think it can help. Okay, so I will share my screen with the title.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys see that?
Right. Yeah, we can see that.
So whenever you want me to go, no problem.
Sure. Could you introduce yourself? Could you speak a little bit about your experience? Because in the description of the presentation, we put that you have a vast experience in different organizations and working with different organizations. So it would be interested for us to learn about your experience and then learn from you.
Okay, so basically about me, I'm a computer guy, you would say. My background is fully technical, an entrepreneur, as an entrepreneur. Okay, I'm a computer engineer, and I have a couple of Master of Science and a doctorate on computer vision. But at the same time, I have founded 4 companies with 2 successful exits. And I'm currently the VP of Engineering of Appium Hub, which is a software consultancy company based in Barcelona. We worked for several clients, and my role in my company, it's something that I would know how to describe succinctly in one formal sentence, but I like to think that my job is to make things work, okay, make things happen. What does it mean? I tend to work with decision makers of the companies we work with, organizing teams, workflows, etc., etc. Okay, so we want them to get the best value from us that they can get. That would be my role in a sentence, right? And this is where this presentation kicks in, because most of the discussions we have to do with changing the mindset and the way that they think. Okay. I also have a master in business administration because I like to study. I don't know. Most of the positions I've been with have been CTO, CEO. And it has already been 26 years since I started working in companies. So I like to think that I'm still young, but I think that I'm joining the old guard already, right? So that's me. I had a slide with the list of attendance that you provided, right? But I think that we're fewer. But basically, when I present a speech or give a presentation, I want to know who I will be talking to, right? So basically, I think that aside from Andre, I know all of you, okay? But basically, this talk should be directed to someone that can make decisions on how companies and organizations work, the teams and the setups, etc., etc. All right?
All right, yeah, let's get started. And by the way, while we are getting started and see not many people around, we'll just ping them on LinkedIn one more time that the event is running, and hopefully someone will join us. Katrina, can you do that, right?
Okay.
Now, yeah.
All right, so what is this session about? It's something that we were discussing in the beginning, right? So basically, This session is about how, especially non-IT companies, but a lot of companies implement agility or basically understand agility. Okay, the presentation is divided into 3 chapters. The first one is a little bit of a train of thought of how companies work and the concept of product and the differences between non-IT companies and IT companies, okay, and what usually happens, okay. And then the second and the third part are a little bit of all men ranting about the usual problems that we encounter and some proposals to overcome them, okay. Yeah. So let's go for the first one, which would be what we find usually, which is the clash of cultures. Okay, I have prepared the presentation emphasizing the word non-tech businesses in the title, right? What is a non-tech or non-software, non-IT companies? And well, this basically, it has to do with the products that they build, right? If you find some fashion brand, for instance, I don't know, Tara or Inditex that we will talk about, of course, they have an e-commerce and you can say that they have an IT department, but the main revenue stream comes because they sell clothes, right? They are a fashion brand. What is an IT company? So Amazon would be an IT company. Amazon, all the business that they have is the value that they provide is through IT products. Okay, they are a marketplace. So basically, why have I put non-tech businesses on the title? So there are 2 reasons for that. Basically, because the clients that we usually work with are non-IT businesses. Okay. We work with some of the finest brands and companies, I would say global and for sure national, okay? But the main value that, or the main revenue stream that they have is not based on IT, okay? They have a high degree of IT work within the company, okay? You do not have to think only on end user products, but also in any kind of system and any kind of product that they can use internally to manage stock, to manage work shifts, etc. Okay, so and we are involved in some of the biggest projects within this company. So, for instance, in Inditex, we are present in the development of the Zara application, Nestlé supplier portal, Guilty, Mango checkout, and the new e-commerce checkout system. It's something that we do. In Mercadona, we have built subsystems to manage the ovens in the store. So Grifols, all the machinery with Grifols will be shifted since 2025 with our architecture, okay, to name a few. So we are quite experienced with this kind of companies. They are usually big companies, and they are companies that were born not thinking about IT, okay? But the problems that we have found in these companies resonate in others and are very interesting to extrapolate to other ones, okay? All right, so in order to start thinking, let's ask ourselves, what is a product, okay? Because basically, this chapter is about the clash of cultures, and this clash has a lot to do with the product of each companies. We will see like that, okay? So product is a service or a physical good that satisfies the need of an audience and that is willing to pay for it, okay? So basically we have a product, which is the what, okay? The service or a physical good would be the tangible. The need is the problem that we want to solve. The audience is our target, and willing to pay for it means that what we build has a value, right? It's basically what allows us to make a living, okay? So let's see how are products made and delivered in traditional businesses. So let's put ourselves when it comes to fashion, okay? This is a very simplified step-by-step process on how fashion brands put something that it's only a drawing on a sketchboard at this point until the end user is able to buy for that, okay? from the idea to have something on the store that you can buy usually takes 22 weeks. Okay, and this is for fashion. When you go to food industry, and some, I selected these two examples because we have some clients related to fashion and we have some others related to food industry. So it's examples that we know very well. When it comes to food industry, you are touching some very critical topics, which are health regulation and public safety. So it takes 42 to 78 weeks, basically 60 on average, okay? Which means that when you have the idea or you detect the need or a niche market that you can cover and make money, you have to wait more than a year to see that happening, right? Once you have launched your product to the market, in order to get feedback, to know if everything is going like expected, etc., you still have to wait weeks, okay? And it depends of a lot of stuff, promotion, seasonal trends, etc. All right, so basically, when you're talking about the company that traditionally has made physical goods for the big market, you have a company that the time to market is high and has a lot of cost involved. In order to manage that, they have to make a lot of upfront planning for everything to work as expected. Okay, all the steps that you own have to be predictable, and the feedback cycle is long. So basically, it's something that you really can make a lot of money, but if you fail during that process, you can lose a lot of money, because there's, of course, you can manage how you launch things, etc., but there's no way that you will do a smoke test with, I don't know, 2,000 bags of food and then see if you want to do mass production. So it's something that it's very particular to these kind of businesses, which are the vast majority. Okay. What's the problem with that? This is something that also defines the culture of the company. Okay, when you have a company that's building products with this tight planning, with this serialization of steps that has to go step by step, etc., all the culture is made that, okay, we have to plan everything, we have to predict everything, we have to do cost management, we have to make Excel files for everything, right? So this defines how the whole company culture works, right? When it comes to trends, it's very it's a topic that I like a lot, okay? Because how do you react to trends, right? When you have this kind of time to market. So basically, in the fashion in the fashion case, what they do is basically they drive the market, okay? So what they do is they use trendsetters, they use the guys that tell you which kind of clothes and which trends will be hyped 6 months from now, right? So it's like most of them have given up adapting to the market. What they try to do is to guide the market where they will go. All right, so it's quite interesting. And this is also a reason why some of the fashion brands have poor financial reasons in some quarters, because they do not hit the right note, right? All right, so what about IT companies? Well, we were there. Actually, IT companies used to be the same, in the sense that back in the 80s and until mid-90s, everything was essentially the same. We had to strict upfront planning, we had deadlines to meet, products to launch, packaging, etc. So it's normal that when you look at the ISO standards of software specifications, etc., it's not that different to what non-IT companies are doing. But then the internet came and basically changed everything. Instead of putting all the steps that software does to reach the client, I think that this table is much more revealing. Okay, So we are talking, a moment ago, we were talking about fashion industry, 22 weeks to something to hit the market, more than a year in the food case. Well, Amazon deploys to production 23,000 times a day. Okay, Amazon has a lot of products. They have Amazon Marketplace, everything for the sub companies. They have Alexa, they have AWS, et cetera, but it's, if they have 230 products, they deploy each product on average 100 times a day, right? The rest of the companies you see, it's actually Facebook and Twitter are from the most known once a day or thrice a week, okay? This data comes from a novel called The Phoenix Project, which I highly recommend if you haven't read that. It's a book about DevOps, right? But the philosophy is the same. But the thing in here is that most of the non-software companies on average that have products that are launched to their users deploy once a month, once a quarter, et cetera, okay? And they are also building software, right? So there's a huge difference. Let's talk about what happens when we have launched that. Okay, we were talking about that we need some weeks to collect data in the food, in the fashion case. Okay, and with software we have that on real time and almost instantaneously. Okay, so we basically can see what our users are doing with our applications from the moment it hits the market. Okay. When it comes to how we react to market changes. So we have seen some examples in the past, but what I find one of the most amazing cases is the Instagram case. Okay, so basically Instagram was acquired by Meta in 2012. Okay, Snapchat was emerging, and at that time Instagram was only like a photo application, right? So what Facebook tried to do, Facebook tried with some crappy applications named Poke, something like that. Then they try to acquire Instagram, okay? And at the end, they say, okay, screw it. I'm just going to copy Instagram, and I will turn Instagram to support videos and have a stories, et cetera. They basically did that in 2 months. And we're not talking about adapting to a trend. We're talking about changing your whole application, right? So this is how software can react to market changes, okay? In here, we can see, so below, July of 2016, the users of Instagram were far below Snapchat, and it skyrocketed. Okay. So once the internet comes in, everything with IT products is the opposite of what we used to have. So we have low time to market, we have manageable risk, because basically when we deploy something, we have the ability of do A/B testing, candidate testing, like a lot of things, okay? The requirements and everything we have to know can be driven by the user, so they are kind of emergent. You do not know anything. You kind of go with the flow and learn from your users in order to know what is more valuable to them to provide, okay? So the feedback cycle and reaction time is short, and you basically, it's very easy to adapt your process to best fit your needs, right? Now, the thing would be, nowadays, can we say that, is there any non-software company? Because in my eyes, there are very, very few companies that do not use software. You could argue that there can be, to some degree, some companies that they do not need their own software, but there are quite a few that need to write their own software, whether if it's from external teams or from internal teams, okay? But then what happens in these companies? Well, basically what happens is that you find a company that is used to do things in a very linear, tailored way when it comes to their manufactured products. Everything has to be prepared, anticipated, planned to the last cent of euro. All the deadlines, all the processes have to be very optimized. Okay, and this is the culture of the company. And basically, this is completely against what you want to do in software. That doesn't mean that software doesn't have to have control, okay? But it's just nuts to think that you can build software the same way that you build fashion or food, okay? This is the clash. And it's something that happens not only between IT and non-IT, it happens mostly on management level. The main clash that it's here is the problems that you have at management level for them to understand that, okay? So you find companies that have a huge unbalance. So on one side, they're extremely good on logistics, on stock management, on sourcing, et cetera, to build their own thing, okay? But on the other side, they fail completely when it comes to organizing the way that software is developed. And this is the clash that we want to talk about, okay? Now, the second part is more about the problems that we have found in the people that we work with, okay? Not only now, but also in the past. And I think that I have put like the 5 most common problems that that we normally have to struggle with. Okay, so first one, Agile TM, or Dark Agile, or Dark Scrum, or basically all the industry of Agile consultants that have arisen since 20 years ago. Okay, which is the first thing that big companies do. Okay, when they want to go Agile, they hire some Agile consultancy company, and here we go. Okay. So there is a quote that tells that there are no Agile or non-Agile teams, there are Agile or non-Agile organizations. I firmly believe that, but what I have learned is that even if you are on a non-Agile organizations, if they leave a degree of freedom to the software department to organize themselves, okay, it's something that works really, really well. So let's see more or less what happens. I'm a big company and I want to go Agile. And then what they do is that they call a guy from an Agile consultancy company, stays in your company for 6 months. They throw you some very nice guy that is an Agile coach that tells you that you have to implement the Scrum and ask you what is your favorite color, or if you're a dolphin or a lion, okay? Stays with you for 6 months and then they leave, right? So, okay, job done. Your team knows the Scrum. That's perfect. Bye-bye, okay? I've now installed Agile methodology. The main problem is that what they do not tell you is that Scrum and all the stuff doesn't work if you keep with the same mindset that your company had. And this is where the real battle begins, right? An example, most of our clients work already in Scrum and Agile methodology, and all of them keep asking us to plan upfront for 6, 9, 12 months, okay? Which are the tasks, which are the estimations, which people is going to do that, et cetera, et cetera. So practicality is the same thing that they are used to do over and over. There is no agility on that, okay? So basically, what is important is that being Agile is not about using Scrum, Kanban, or whatever. Actually, what I think is that someone that follows the Scrum to the book is not doing anything that has to do with agility, because it's sticking to a method, not looking for improvement. Okay, we will go for that a little bit later. All right, but agility is a mindset, is a willingness to improve and to find ways to make things better. Okay. The second struggle is Conway's law. Okay, what is Conway's law? I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. Okay, basically, what Melvin Conway, which was a software developer, said, okay, is that organizations that design systems are constrained to produce designs which are copies of the communication structures of these organizations. What does it mean? Let's put a picture to that. Okay, so which means is that if we have an organization that is very distributed. The software that we will produce will possibly be based on microservices and distributed architecture. While if we are a very large team, we will work with a monolith, or even worse, that we will produce software and we will treat it the same way that the company departments are built. Let's see an example, okay? Imagine that we have a very big company called Acme, okay? Acme as a company has several divisions: procurement, manufacturing, compliance, quality, sourcing, okay? So Acme earns a lot of money every year. And what they do is they assign a budget, they have to build an application, which be the partner portal, okay? And every department of Acme, okay, will have to build some functionalities for their partners. With the money that Acme has, they assign a budget to each one of the departments. And then what each department does is they hire a team to build software, right? So procurement department will hire a manager and 2 people. There's always a manager. They never forget about that, right? So, and manufacturing will have 1, compliance will have 3, quality will have 1, sourcing will have 3, etc., right? What is the problem? What the user does is cross-functional. Okay, so basically, you might have budget for 1 guy in quality, and you have to cope with a lot of work. You have problems with the organization. When some user wants to buy something, organize some manufacturer, then check legislation and do some QA to finally deliver, who coordinates 4 teams? Okay, what are the problems that arise? So it's something that, if you take a look at this picture, the main problem and the impact that have is that everything was making sense until you put your user into the picture. Everything was making sense to your company structure, but not to your product or to your users. That's the main problem. So Conway law is something that you have to bear in mind, because basically it affects everything: the team setup, even the software architecture, okay, budgeting, communication channels. It creates silos. So there is a lot of consequences of not thinking about how you set up your teams and how you set up your workflows if you do only that, thinking about how your company works and not how your software is going to work, okay? Then the third one, the IT guys, right? Basically, I think we have a sitcom used to have a sitcom like the IT guys, where some guys in the basement always talking about nerdy things, etc., right? So developers as mere executors, right? It's, I would say, a side effect of the Conway law, but it's something that happens in big companies where you have some manager that thinks, okay, and a lot of developers that have to build software, right? So developers should not think, okay, I will tell you what to do, right? This is basically, of course, a cartoon of how this kind of plan would work with football, but building software is teamwork, so it's completely applicable as well, right? So this is what we want to call the problem versus solution domain. Most of the things that we find is that when we have to implement something, we are giving already a solution that our clients are looking for. We are not given the problem to think about the solution, okay? So as software developers or product people, we want to think about what problem the user has, okay? Because the development team can contribute a lot because they know the code base, they know what can be used, etc., but most of the time, they come with designs and you have no word other than if you can implement that or not, right? So this is something very important to keep in mind when you manage software teams. They are not executors. They should be an integral part of the analysis and solution proposal, okay? And I'm not talking about analysts. I'm talking about developers, okay? The setup of the organization is key with this view. When you have these kind of figures in here, you have the managers in here, you have the managers in here, and you are tight and square, normally what you have is a development team that have to implement what they have to implement what they are fed or given, okay? So it's something to keep in mind. And lastly, I like a lot this quote. This is Claudia Godin, which was a Nobel Prize winner a couple of years ago, okay? And you expect innovation and good solutions from your people, okay? But in order to do that, you have to let them ask questions and work on the problem, not just execute. And believe me, most of the developers that are around are quite intelligent people, okay? So it pays a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense to ask them questions and let them work out solutions, because they have a very, very constructive way of approaching problems. Yes, this is another side effect of the Conway's law, which is the layers of management and autonomy, right? So what happens in big companies or in some companies that are very hierarchical, right? That basically you have to, in order to do anything, you have to have the permission from above. So when you have a setup with a team lead and a dev team, and you're working on a big company, you normally have to interact with something like this, okay? You have stakeholders, software architects that define the global way of building software within the company, okay? Then for the piece of software that you're building, you have the module owner, the product manager, and the area manager. This is no joke, this is real, okay? And then, of course, you have DevOps and infrastructure, and you have compliance because the legislation guys have to be there. And finally, you have end users and the Agile coach, of course, why not, right? So when you put ways to communicate, okay, what you have is something that looks like that. It's madness, okay? And it basically provokes two different effects. The first one is the feeling that the dev team is building something, okay? And there are lots of stakeholders and an inverted pyramid that it's looking at you until you finish. And they're only there to tell you what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, okay? The second one is proxy managers, okay? Is that you have layers of management of people that you don't know what have to be there, because they're basically messengers, because when you want something, their role is to pick your messages and put it on the level above. And then when it comes back with the answer, tell you the answer, okay? This is the main problem with that, is that at the end of the day, when you want a new server, when you want something that has to be done fast, etc., you have to ask 2-3 people and wait for 2 days and open a service ticket, etc. And then, of course, but we're doing a Scrum, so we're agile. No, you're not. Sorry. Okay, so you cannot wait and put yourself hurdles in the middle of your process. Okay, agility is about autonomy. Agility is about being able to do your own stuff. Of course, you can put security measures, you can put some kind of extra step before jumping to production, which I advise against, okay? Because I trust my teams, and we're going to production, let's find how we can get there quick. But the thing is that agility cannot live with these kind of layers of management, okay? Then we have upfront planning and road mapping, which is something that we briefly mentioned before. This is a real screenshot of a real project in 2024. This chart was made in October 2023. This is basically what we have here is a lot of projects for some business vertical, okay? And we have all the weeks of the year. And we knew 18 months before or 6 months before what would be done and when in the phase of the year. right? The interesting part is that we only had the specification for the first for the first project of each vertical, but we had everything planned. Okay, so this is a fine. It's fantastic, and we already had some resources assigned to the project. It's fantastic. Okay. Again, the problem of or the reason to do that is that we depend on the budget, and the budget is fixed on a fiscal year. So in order to control your budget, these kind of organizations have to manage the project this way, because they're building software the same way that they are building food or fashion or whatever. Okay. And another thing of the upfront planning is, I took this picture for you guys, from you guys. Okay, it's the ability that management has to convert deadlines into estimates into deadlines. Okay, so when you ask something that it's briefly described for in an email and say how long will it take? I don't know, between 2 and 4 months. Okay, so it will be 3 months, and then magically you have a deadline and a length estimation, right? So thank you for the picture. It has been very handy to be added to the presentation. And then the question when you find these kind of scenarios is that when you are in the middle of the year, and of course a lot of things have happened, what is the goal of a software team? Do we have to do our best to complete the plan that we had in the beginning, or do we have to do our best in order to provide the best product or serve the users the best way we can, right? So it's quite obvious. And finally, it's the solution to it all. When we are going late, what we do? We add more people, right? Why not, right? Some of the things that people like to have in this kind of environment is a notion of capacity, velocity, etc., etc. Funny thing is that in an industrial company, you can actually measure how many pieces a day goes out from the assembly line, but software doesn't go like that. On top of that, I always like to remember that the guy that invented story points and invented velocity publicly apologized for having done that. Okay, so Ron Jeffries is telling everyone, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And on top of that, if you read the Scrum guide and you look for velocity or speed, you will not find any entry. Okay, so it's quite it's a quite common symptom that when you feel that you're going slow or you have problems, normally the first thing that they do is, okay, we add one developer, we add one people, we add one manager. Of course, why not, right? Because there's plenty of managers to be added everywhere. But the thing is that they never look at, okay, what could we do better? Why are we going late? Are we going late because as a team we're going late, or because I'm not finishing the things as I estimated 6 months ago? Because of course that's senseless, right? So these are the kind of things that we find in a lot of environments. All right, so now let's be a little bit constructive. What should we do? Or what do we think that that can be done with this kind of projects or environments, etc. So first of all, there's no magic solution that works for everyone. Okay, we have seen that every project, every product is unique because basically what you have to do is to adapt to your users, to your product, to your people, team managers, etc. Okay, so this is the first thing that comes into mind. So even whatever you apply, it will only be a starting point, and then the main thing is to be willing to improve. Okay, so let's see some proposal on team setup etc., etc. Give me just 1 minute to make a sip. My mouth was running dry. Okay, so let's have some guidelines of what should we do. So when thinking about how we set up the team or the product, we should isolate ourselves from the organizational structure. Okay, so we should think that we are the IT department. Okay, study the business flows, study our domains, study what the user do, etc., etc., and set up the teams, the communication structures, and everything to work for ourselves. Okay, and then once we have that, of course, we have to align with the organization, and then we should find connection points that allows us to work with the organization. But the organizational structure should never define the structure of the IT team, okay? Because otherwise we will not be maximizing the value that we can provide. Again, it's about the yellow flows, okay? The yellow arrows. The way that we create teams, we create focus areas, etc., is about what the user does, not how the organization is looking. Okay, this is the first. If we do this, we have already half of the battle won. Okay, because basically everything that we will develop will make sense to the end product. Okay, the figure of a good product owner, and I will explain why. So the figure of a PO has been put in discussion lately by some of the people I follow. Okay, particularly there's a guy named Alan Holub, which is one of my reference guy when it comes to agility. Okay, and he advocates that a product owner should not be necessary within a development team. Okay, basically the basic assumption is that development team is a group of mature people that can think by themselves, and they should manage the product themselves along with the end users, which I agree with. Okay, but the thing is, in this kind of organizations, it's very practical to have a good product owner. Okay, because basically the role of a product owner is that you want to go from here to a team with a product owner, and then the product owner will handle a lot of stuff and isolate the team to leave only the important conversations with them. Okay, the product owner should have the vision and lead the product and be actually the driver with the team of the product. Okay, I think that the dev team, it's more important for the dev team to talk with the end users, okay, rather than for the dev team to talk with a lot of stuff that is coming from within the organization. Okay, and the product owner helps a lot with that, managing budget, priorities, company priorities, etc., etc. It's much lean, way better than the setup where everyone talks with everyone. Okay. And why do I want my end users to talk with the dev team? Well, this is a very graphical explanation of why. So basically, if you design a toy, you don't want the toy to be nice for the stakeholders. You want it to be nice for the end users, right? So basically, it's very easy to spot what the stakeholders see and what the user are seeing on the right. So basically, you want to work as closely with the end users as possible, because these are the guys that are enjoying your value. Okay. How should we plan? This is a very particular topic. So basically, it said that there are a lot of times where the software projects go late, always late. Why? Well, it's easy. Basically, when you talk about the requirements that you have for a software product, you have three types. The ones that you know before the start of the product, the ones that you don't know or you miss, and the ones that will pop during the implementation of the product. This happens in almost any software project, if not all. Okay, we only estimate this. So on top of the estimations being, let's say, not reliable, we are not estimating half of the work. Okay. How should we plan then? So we should not pretend that that we want to have a year or year and a half detailed plan. Okay. We should have details and a very concrete scope for the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Okay. Then we should have a very clear idea of what goes next. Okay. In order to have a very clear idea of what do we have to deliver as the next block. Okay. And use this onion planning strategy. So the team has an horizon of 3 weeks to 6 weeks, not more. Okay. I used to say that when you put on a software backlog, there is only one item that makes sense, which is the most important one. It's the first one that you should pick, right? So when you change this kind of long-term planning into something much more practical, okay, the throughput and basically the velocity in terms of value delivery of the team increases a lot. Okay, because it makes a lot of sense for everyone. Okay, of course you have to have a roadmap, but it doesn't pay off to have a roadmap like the one that we saw before with all the 2024 plan to the week. Okay, because you know that it's based on estimation, which are faulty data. You will not do all that, and possibly you are missing a lot of interesting things that can pop in the middle of your roadmap. Okay, so basically what you want to have is a backlog with a very good definition of the few items that are coming next. Okay, a very good idea of what is to be delivered after. Okay, and a very good vision of what are the important steps that you have to do next. Okay, let's talk a little bit about estimates. We said that it's unreliable. I think that everyone understands why. Okay, my problem with the estimate is the amount of time that some companies lose making teams estimate things. Okay, so first, you have to have, in order to have the best estimations that you have, the first thing that you need is a very good backlog. Okay, so the more broad, the bigger the stories are, etc., the more unreliable the estimations will be. So if you want to use estimations, please split stories, work on your backlog in order to produce smaller items, and then you will get much better results if you have to estimate. But if you do this work with the backlog, why do you need any kind of estimate? Because if you have a backlog that is in shape, okay, the only thing that you need is to study how your team is working and how are you delivering software, how many stories per iteration are you able to comply, etc., and then you can project. Okay, because if you have a team that on average produces more or less 6 stories a week, and you know that all the backlog items are more or less the same size and same complexity, why do you have to lose any time for the people to estimate anything? You can count on from 4 to 7 stories a week, and you will have projections. You will be able to manage timelines, deadlines, etc. You do not have to make the team give an estimate, tell them that it's an estimate, and then make them a commitment. You can manage the time anyway. Okay, I recommend lectures from Vasco Duarte on the no estimates. Okay, there's a book and there are some YouTube meetings that are talking about this difference, because there's a lot of data behind. This is something that works based on a study of 10,000 projects in companies, and where they compared what would have what had happened without the estimations. Okay. And then finally, how should we develop and deliver? Okay. In order of team setup, a lot of companies, non-IT companies, also some kind of Tayloristic smell tells you that mob programming and pair programming is losing capacity because you're putting 2 people to do one thing. Okay, this is not true. There are also articles on that, on the benefits of pair programming, because basically, if you do MOP, you do pair programming, you can skip code review, which is a practice that I hate. Okay, code reviews. It's good to share knowledge. It's good to onboard new people. It's good to do in place error handling. It's good to coordinate teams. It's good for the growth of the teams. So it has a lot of benefits. Okay, and the speed doesn't get hurt, because when you put into account that people working alone produce more bugs, and these bugs reach production and they come back, etc., etc. Okay, pair programming and mob is actually faster than traditional ways of splitting teams. Okay, the team has a responsibility though. Okay, the team has to deliver. When you want to propose this kind of changes to an organization, and you want to propose that you will change everything that they have in mind, that you will put teams like this, like that, and you will see the results, the team has to deliver. Okay, so there is also a spread vision about the development teams, like being a little bit whiners, and complaining about everything. The thing is that the real responsibility is not meeting a deadline of an estimate. The real responsibility is that when you're in shape and you are doing the things that the way that you want to do, you have to deliver. Okay, so it's very important for the development team to especially in the initial stages, to put everything on the line and be able to prove that this system works. Because what usually happens when you try to create these environments, if you fail at the beginning, in most companies, you have lost the opportunity of implementing the team organizations the way that you want to do. Okay. Then, when it comes to value delivery, CI/CD is a must. I do not believe in Scrum releasing something every 2 weeks. I do not believe into a system where I have to wait for a branch or something like that. I believe that as soon as it's ready, it goes to production. Okay. And I don't care if I have my sprint review on Friday. I will deliver on Monday if I have ready by Monday, because then on Friday I will have more feedback. Okay, we have means in software with feature flags. We have canary testing. We have a lot of things to ship things into production safely and not break anything. So CI/CD, to me, it's something that is a must. Yes or yes. And then the feedback loop. The feedback loop must be on the development setup, both internal when it comes to unit testing, when it comes to integration testing, etc., and the external, customer analytics, behavior, conversion rates, etc. Okay, A/B testing, super important. All right, and when you put everything together, you start small. Okay, MVP, and then you never stop. The idea is, when we go back to the table where we saw that Amazon is releasing everything 23,000 times a day. Okay, I don't think that I will ever be able to lead a company that's releasing all that much, but I like to work with teams that release something several times a week, and if possible, several times a day. Okay, this is where you create engagement in your users, in your management, everywhere. You get data, you can play with data, the product owner can make decisions, and everything flows much smoothly. Okay, let's not be afraid of releasing stuff into production. Let's create something where we can safely release things into production. Okay, and then back to adapting the market change, right? So the title of the second part of the title of this call was adapting rapidly to market changes, and it's something that seemingly I haven't touched in the last half an hour. Okay, let's see what is the takeaway of this talk. Okay, when we get approached by companies, normally there are two sources of frustration. First of all is software quality. I have a lot of bugs in production. I don't know what to do with my software quality. I think my architecture is not very good, etc., etc. Okay, and then the second source of frustration is work faster and deliver more, right? So basically adapt at some point to what my users want. Let's start with an analogy with the bugs, right? So this is a chart that Christian Chicheri, our one of the co-founders of Appium, have prepared for a book or a session. Okay, it's about bugs and software quality. So basically, in here we can see a chart where we have the requirements phase, the coding phase, the integration phase, and then we have the testing and support. And the green line is the cost to fix a bug. So basically what we say is that if the bug reaches production, we're screwed, because we can break the business circuit, we can have problems with payments, we can have anything with that. So when the companies come to us and talk to us about these kind of problems, that I'm having bugs with this country, what should I do? Should I put a sustained team to manage bugs only? Should I put one guy on rotation every week that only manages bug? And my answer is always the same, that you're fixing your symptoms, but the main problem you have is that you're making the bugs in here. So even if you put people to manage in here, you're fucked anyway, right? What you have to do is you have to change your process in order to minimize the number of bugs that reaches production. You have to do better unit testing. You have to do QA automation. You have to be more robust on your process, and then you will see that you will have so few bugs that you will not care who takes care of the bug, because you'll have 1 or 0 bugs per sprint, okay, and you will be able to manage directly. A bug in production is a test that was not written in development. It's that simple, okay? When it comes to adaptability, it's the same. It's not about seeing what actions can you do with your own system or with the system that you have in mind. It's about how should I set up my whole process in order to be adaptable. Okay, so to me, in software, being adaptable doesn't go with releasing once every 3 months. I can be adaptable if I have a process that allows me to release to production several times a week. Then I can be adaptable, and I will see how I manage my priorities, my backlog, etc., etc. So basically, the main takeaway of this call should be that in order to be agile, in order to ensure adaptability, in order to do that, we do not have to put things on top of the traditional processes. It's more a challenge of a whole process. And as we said, okay, it's something that that makes a lot of sense, but it's very hard to implement. Okay. So to close the presentation, let's go back to fashion. Okay. Why Zara has dominated the market for the last 20 years in fashion? What do you guys know what Zara did in order to be dominant?
No.
No. Okay. So basically, until Zara came into the game, all the fashions brand made one collection per season. So you had the autumn, winter, spring, and summer collection, right? And then Amancio Ortega came into the play and said, okay, so basically what is happening to me now is that I'm making one collection per season, and if the clothes if the clothing that I produce is liked by the people, then I will sell. Otherwise, I won't. Okay, but the fact is that 1 week or 2 weeks into the season, I already know if they like it or not. So what I'm going to do is, instead of creating one collection per season, I will create 4 or 5. I will do smaller chunks of clothes. Okay, so less number of pieces per production, and more rotation of pieces. That way, my clients will go to the store not once per season, but 3 or 4 times. Okay, and I will be able to correct whatever piece is not selling and put another one that it sold. This is basically what Zara does, and it's the first retailer of fast fashion in the world. And his model has been copied by everyone. So in essence, what Zara did is they picked the process that the whole fashion industry had, and they challenged the process. They didn't look for doing better clothing. They didn't look for different colors. They said, if I want to be the market leader, I want to challenge the process that everyone is doing. Okay. Why is Shane emerging now? So Zara biggest menace right now is Shane. Why? Shane is mostly online, and what Shane does is that when Zara launches a new collection on the store, they give you the same thing on the web the day after, much cheaper. Again, it's a change on the process. It's not something that that has to do with how to produce clothes or not. Okay, the things that produce significant changes or quantum changes are the things that are produced by challenging your own processes. Okay, so this is the main takeaway that I want the people to get from this talk. All right, that's all. Thank you, Vega. Thank you very, very much for keeping yourself at this time.
Thank you, Ramon. Any questions? Well, I had some of questions while I was listening to the presentation, and maybe after me, some other folks will join up and share their questions as well. So I think you touched several interesting points, like several entry points, how to make that change in a large organization. And one of the pillars that you mentioned is that Agile is a mindset. And to go from old-fashioned to Agile organization, there should be a mindset change. How do you see that process? How do you envision to start that process in a large organization, which is like absolutely not Agile today, and how can they slowly but steadily move into Agile?
So there is the main, one of the advantages that we have nowadays, okay, is that people is much more aware of things like lean manufacturing, lean companies. So basically the Agile mindset was not invented by developers. The Agile mindset comes from Edward Deming and the Toyota system, and how they improved the assembly line of Toyota back in the 50s in Japan. Okay, basically this Deming cycle, plan, do, check, act is basically what is below this Agile mindset, right? So when you talk to someone that can impact this kind of decision on a company, you do not have to start with IT gibberish and Scrum and stuff like that, etc., etc. So basically, there are two main things that you can emphasize with this kind of managers. One is this agility from the view of continuous improvement, Deming, etc. Okay, because they are familiar with that and they know that this is good. And another very good incentive that there is in there is the money saving. Okay, or basically the value that you can propose. So most of the time you find yourself talking to people that can make this decision that doesn't know anything about software, software development, meaning, right? So you have to drive the conversation into setting smaller goals to at business level, so they can understand and not and actually start building a trust relationship. Because when they see that basically what you're trying to do makes sense and provides good results, then they give you more freedom to actually drive this transformation yourself, right? But you have to be aware that any kind of change at this organization level has a lot of resistance. Okay. Basically, you're trying to change the way that a lot of people that has been there for a lot of years is used to work, and this is normally people has fear for that. The best way probably is to start with one small team, do a POC, prove that this works, expand a little bit to other teams, then raise interest of other managers. So these guys at this division are flying when it comes to software, and the way I'm doing things, I'm having results every 3 months, not every 3 weeks. Okay, so this is something that you have to prepare. If you try to go and change everything, etc., a big organization will chew you and then spit you somewhere in the road, because it's normal. Okay, it has a lot of resistance.
And how do you pick that team to start with? Let's say you have dozens of teams, and you tell like this one will be the first to go agile.
Normally, you would pick the team that has less dependencies on other teams, because it's the team where you will be able to put the things like you want. If you start with other dependencies, I can, for instance, in Nestle, Nestle is, among other things, the biggest SAP project in the world. Okay, so when it comes to SAP or SAP, I don't know in English. Okay, it has, Nestle is running on SAP, and it's a global brand. It's a top 10 or top 50 company, so it's super big, and everything is running on SAP, right? So what we find is that we have a very good degree of freedom when it comes to development, but you always depend on the SAP teams. And we get slowed down because everything that we need an endpoint to get some data from SAP that it's not available, etc. You have to raise a ticket, then they have to give you an answer, you have to provide the budget, etc. And basically what should be done in less than a morning, it takes a couple of weeks, right? So when you want to start with this kind of proof of concept, you want to find a place where you depend on the less people possible, because otherwise the number of dependencies that you have is an opportunity to fail, you know, because the people that are expecting results do not want to hear excuses that, oh, I was running great, but this team took 2 weeks to give me what they wanted, etc. You know, so basically you want to find an environment that it's as isolated as possible, and then expand from them on. Okay.
And how would you track the success of that mindset shift? Like you started that process, like for example, you are 3 months, 6 months in a way, and how can managers see whether they are succeeding with becoming agile or not?
Yeah, on that side. So first of all, one of the fears that I had when I was preparing the presentation is that I didn't want to give the impression that I didn't give importance to metrics. Okay, I love metrics, but I love metrics when your process makes sense. Okay, so to me, measuring something based on estimates, for instance, doesn't make sense. What would be good metrics on agility? If you have a product and you're able to ship features that your users demand, or you're able to ship new things to production every 2 days, this is a good metric for me. Okay, what is the frequency of my value delivery? Okay, what is the time it takes from my user, whether it's internal or end users, focus group, whatever, ask for something that makes sense into a product, and I am able to deliver. Okay, because this has a lot to do with your process, the way that that your software is written. Okay, that there is one thing that I haven't spoken about in the presentation, which is how should the software be. And when you think about the quality of software, you think about security, you think about domain bounds, you think about robustness, performance, etc. But there is one quality which I think it's critical on agility, which is the refactorability of the code. Okay, how long and how painful it is to change something on my code, to add things to my code, and be certain that everything is running as it was a couple of weeks ago, okay? That I haven't broken anything introducing changes, because this is what will allow me to safely provide value to the end users, okay? So when it comes to metrics, I like to take them. So of course you have a roadmap, okay? And I like to measure the pace of value delivered, okay? And you can have broad estimates on the roadmap. You can have information from the team that, okay, I think that I can do these 3 big chunks in the next 2 quarters, okay? And you can measure from that. But to me, it's more about frequency and pace rather than based on estimates or completion of predictions, okay?
I see. Thank you. Roberto, Christian, maybe you guys have some questions.
No, Ramon, thank you. Thank you very much for your comment, your presentation. It's so great.
Thank you.
Thank you. So in case we don't have any more questions, like what's the key takeaway you want us to leave with, Ramon?
It's basically when I'm talking about mindset or when you face any kind of project within your organization or partner or whatever, there's a necessary step that that has to be taken, which is to revisit your process and have maybe not meetings but discussions, having coffees, etc., with your colleagues on how to improve your process, what is painful at this moment, and if there's nothing painful, how can you accelerate or how can you do things better in your process. There is one tendency that we all have. We are used to have many meetings, especially when it comes to manager level and upward, okay? We used to have many meetings. I ask myself every week, how many meetings of those could I have solved with an email? Okay, and then I tell people that, listen, next time I will send you an email. And I may be blunt, but I prefer to have a coffee with a colleague rather than have a meeting speaking of something that I can solve with a couple of lines of chat, etc., etc. So these kind of things, and it's something that the developers should do as well, okay, in the sense that when you have to raise a ticket to ask for something, when you have to wait for something, when something is broken in production, and you know that if you have had X-ray with automated QA in Jira, you would not have this problem. This is the kind of push that you need to do as a professional. Okay, so this will be the main takeaway. Invest time into challenging and revisiting your process because it's critical to improve. Okay, do not settle with what's there.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ramon. Thank you, everyone, for participating.
Thank you.
I hope it was useful and interesting for everyone. Even though I'm an organizer, but I also learned a couple of tips that I can apply in our organization. So thanks, Ramon, again, and see you on other meetings of us.
All right.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, Alex. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Ramon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.